first, as I told you before, the first 4 sections. By the way, does anybody want their grade tracking sheet to figure out if they need to retake the first 4 sections? Want them? Yep. Okay. Let's look at 1 and 2. Number 1 is easy, right? You're just going to distribute and combine like terms. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 2 is plus 12. Negative 3x times x is negative 3x squared. Now, a lot of you on the quiz last time took negative 3x times negative 5 and you got a 15, but you forgot the x. Don't do that. Stop it. Please put this in standard order. Negative 3x squared. Combine your 6x and your 15x to get 21x plus 12. Okay, number two. Evaluate. Again, I highly suggest you put parentheses around these because you guys are still making common mistakes. I have a 4. I'm going to substitute in my x value squared minus 3, substitute in my y, and 3, substitute in x plus 5 times substitute in y squared. If you do this and you do the right substitutions, at least I can give you credit. I probably would even give you full credit. When you guys start putting this into the calculators, that's when you start making significant mistakes. Okay? At least I can give you credit. This is the concept that you're substituting in the values, not how you're putting it into the calculator. Okay? If you do put it in a calculator and work it out, please remember to hit enter after you do the numerator and then do the denominator separately. Then divide them out. Okay? Otherwise, you have to do double parentheses on the bottom and it's kind of messy. All right, number 3, it says be able to, you're going to have a little bit of a different problem since it's a retake. You're going to have a student that works an equation and there's going to be a mistake in it. You're going to have to tell me what the mistake is and then work out the equation. That's what error analysis is. If you remember your post-test that you guys worked so hard on, there's a question about error analysis on that is going to be on your post-test. All right, number 4. A health store calculates cost of your granola purchase T. So that's the total cost, right? Total cost T based off the weight of the cereal. So W is the weight of the cereal. And the number of containers used. I bet you that's what B is. Number of containers used. And you know what? There's nothing to solve there. You're done. You're just defining variables, right? Now, number 5. It looks like they were, you remember on the test you had 2 free bags. The first bag was free or whatever. And you had a choice of, let's see, $8 for a coffee cup, plus each bag was $2.50. You actually had a $2.50 times X minus, or we'll say bag, so B minus first 2 bags are 2. You had a choice, right? And the other choice was 8 plus 250 B. And I told you guys that you have to consider those first 2 bags. Here we go, yeah. First 2 bags free, right? You have to consider it. This is our free bag. Here's our freebies right there. Okay, that's our freebie. So when you go to write the equation, make sure you have a minus freebie with your variable. Make sense? Remember for all the way from the first quiz? I know I'm going through this pretty fast, but it is review. Yeah, that's what scares me. Especially the people next to you. Won't say any names, but Martin and. All right, 1.4 part 1. I don't even think I'm going to go through these individually, except number 12. Because there were a lot of fraction people that screwed up, right? All right. You can use a common denominator. I don't care if you use just a common denominator, which would mean multiplying all your denominators together. You're just going to work with very large numbers. It does get rid of the fractions when you distribute. It's just very large numbers, which is okay because you guys use calculators these days, right? All right. It's preferred that you guys find the LCD because you're going to have to do a little work with it later on. And the easiest way I can tell you to find the least common denominator is to take your highest denominator and see if all of the other denominators are factors of those. Well, our highest denominator is 10. Is 5 a factor of 10? Why, yes, it is. Is 2 a factor of 10? Why, of course it is. Is 4 a factor of 10? No, it's not. Try the next multiple of 10, 20. Okay? Is 5 a factor of 20? Yes. Is 2 a factor of 20? Yes. Is 4 a factor of 20? Yes. So 20 is our lowest common denominator. Make sense? So I'm going to multiply every term by 20. And again, I highly suggest using a calculator. And make sure you put your fractions in parentheses. But you can do this in your head. It's not that hard. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 times 2x, 8x. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 times 3, 30. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 5 times 7x is 35x. 20 divided by 10 is 2. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Then just solve for x. Multiply by whatever you get. Or use the calculator. All right, let's see. This is an equation, so I'm going to keep my x terms positive. I'm going to subtract 8x. If it was an inequality, I would want to keep my variable term on the left-hand side. So that means my x terms are going to cancel. That means I have to get the constant term on the left-hand side. So I'm going to add 6. That gets rid of it over here. So I have negative 30 plus 6 is negative 24. 35x minus 8x is 27x, and we get this really nasty number. Let's see, negative 24 27 equals x, and actually that can be reduced, can't it? 8 over 9, right? Yes, sir. Yes. The new section start on the next page. Okay, systems of equations starts on page 3. Okay, systems of equations word problems is page 4, and then 1.5 is on the bottom. There's only 3 new sections tomorrow. Yeah, if you got 5s on everything, skip. all first 4 sections on the quiz tomorrow. Just do the last 3.
Okay.
Just concentrate on pages 3 and 4. In fact, if you had all 5s, even just rip off the front page. What's that? No, because I take the highest grade. Okay, so I use Skyward to take your highest grade. So if you leave it blank, I might put a 1 or a 0 there, but then I pick up your highest grade. I make a 3rd column and put your highest grade in there and make the others formative. Okay? All right, what number was I at? Isolating the variables. I'm assuming there's going to be quite a few people that do this section retake it, right? So I'm going to do all of them. All right, number 6. Going to solve for m, which means I have to get the m term by itself. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides. So I have mb equals 4a plus 18. And get b by itself. Divide by m. I'm sorry, I got to get m by itself, so I have to divide by b. My b's cancel, and I get m equals all this other big mess. 4a plus 18 divided by b. There weren't a lot of people that had too many problems with that kind. We had a few, what? Yeah, I'm going to do all of these. Yeah, number 9 is actually a pretty hard problem. Number 7. We have 3 in the, well, first of all, we need b, so we have to get this term by itself. I have to get rid of my denominator. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 or 3 over 1, right? Now, I had a lot of interesting things for 3 times a. I had a plus 3, 3 plus a, 3 divided by a. It's just 3 times a. Okay. On the other side, my 3's cancel, and I just get 6b minus 5 over 1, or just 6b minus 5. I still had to get b by itself, right? So I have to get that term by itself. Add 5 to both sides. Again, I started getting some more interesting stuff over here on the left-hand side. You cannot combine those. Okay, it's not 8a, it's not 15a, it's 3a plus 5. And then I have multiplication between the 6 and the b, so I have to divide by 6. Okay. So we get this whole big mess, 3a plus 5 divided by 6 equals b. Okay. Now, so that started some problems. Number 8 started even more problems. Now, this is nothing more than having variables on both sides of the equation. We want to get rid of, we want to solve for the a. So if I have them on both sides of the equations, first thing I want to do is get them on one side, move it over. So I'm going to subtract 5a from both sides. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of things. I got 35a, 35a squared, 12a, all kinds of things. 7a minus 5a are like terms. I get 2a. minus 13 equals 3x. Okay, still got to get a by itself. So I'm going to add 13 to both sides. And again, you guys are getting really creative here. I would get things like 16x, 39x. You cannot combine those. And I have multiplication between the 2 and the a, so I have to divide by 2. Now, you will have on one of those 4 problems on the quiz tomorrow, one of them will be an undistributive problem. And that's what number 9 is. Okay, you're solving for b. I have a b on this side of the equation. I have a b on that side. So the first thing I'm going to do, get b's on the same side. So I'm going to subtract b from both sides. Now, ab minus b is what? Not a, not ab squared. What is it? We said AB minus B. That's exactly what it is. These are unlike terms. You can't combine them. Okay. I know that's not what you said. Please don't combine A, B, and B. They're unlike terms. One has an A, one doesn't. Leave them separate. Okay. I do have another term here, negative 8x with them. So I'm going to get rid of that, put it on the other side. Now I have my AB minus B equals not 17x, not 72x, not 9 minus 8x. It is 9 plus 8x, or 8x plus 9. Now that I have b in 2 terms, all those terms isolated on one side, this is where I do the undistributing, right? I'm going to take out a b from each of those terms. AB divided by b is a. Negative b divided by b is anything over itself is 1. Right, now we have a multiplication problem, so we're going to just divide by everything we don't want. These cancel. So I get my b equals 9 plus 8x all over a minus 1. Okay. Tough problem. It's not an easy problem. I agree with you. You guys thought you were done. Yeah, this won't always happen where every section's on the next quiz. Usually I pick 2, maybe 3. Okay. I only had 3 students do retakes, so maybe you guys are starting to, yeah. All right. Solve by graphing, systems of equations. Make sure you're in the y equals mx plus b form, because it's just easier. Is y equals negative 5 in y equals mx plus b form? I'll ask you again. Is y equal negative 5 in y equals mx plus b form? Yes, it is. It just so happens that you are very good. Just so happens that this negative 5 is b. My well, not my x is 0. My slope is 0, right? So my b is -5. My slope is 0. What kind of line has slope 0? A straight one versus what? A crooked one? Zigzag one? A what? Versus an angle or a vertical, right? So slope 0, a horizontal line. Okay, what's a vertical line? What kind of slope does the vertical line have? Fine, you guys are undefined slope, right? Undefined slope. Okay, it is a vertical line, right? Yeah, you can never reach, it goes to infinity slope. So it's a vertical line. The equation for a vertical line is x equals some number. Horizontal line is y equals some number. In this case, it's -5. So here's y equals -5. It's a horizontal line, and I'm going to use the straight edge because I can't write well. I think so. Yes, ma'am. What? I don't know. I'll get my Google Classroom up to date today so that you guys can watch this over and over and over again when you're going to sleep. In fact, if you can't even sleep at night, I would just, put it on as you sleep. See what happens. Okay, second equation. Is this in y equals mxb plus, or mx plus b form? No. How do I make it into mx plus b form? That's right. I'm going to subtract 3/2 x to both sides. That gets rid of this. It's y by itself. Here I have -3/2 x and a plus 1. Oops, I kind of screwed this up. 3/2 x plus 1. Like I said, you guys got to stop making me do mistakes. All right, what's my b? 1. What's my slope? -3/2, which means I can put that negative sign with the 3, or I can put that negative sign with the 2. All right, so it crosses my y-axis at 1. I'm going to use -3/2. So down 3/2, and if I do this again, I'll probably hit that line. So what's my point of intersection here? What's my solution? 4, -5. X's go first. Y has to be -5 because it says so. Y has to be -5, it says so. No, it's going positive. You know what he's saying? I don't know. Well, if I put the 3/2 back on the other side, again, can anybody clear that up for me? All right, let's go on. I'm sorry, I don't understand you. Sorry. Number 11. See me after class. I'll see if we can work it out. Number 11, solve by substitution. Oh my gosh, we're running out of time. Okay, I'm going to substitute it in the other equation. So I have 4x minus 5. I'm going to substitute in y, negative 15. My y is 3x minus 8. Solve for x. So I get 4x. Negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x. Negative 5 times negative 8 is plus 40. Equals negative 15. 4x minus 15x is negative 11x plus 40 equals negative 15. Subtract 40. Negative 11x equals negative 55. What's x? Okay, pick one. I got to pick the top. 3x, we're going to substitute minus 8. My x is 5. So I have 15 minus 8, which is okay, elimination. We're going to have to add these together, right? But if I add these together, I'm not going to get anything eliminated. I'm going to multiply the bottom one by 4 because 2 is a factor of 8. That way I only have to multiply one equation. I don't have to worry about negative 4 because they're different signs. So 4 times negative 2x is negative 8x. 2 is a factor of 8. To get 2 to be 8, I multiply it by 4. Okay. Negative 8x. 4 times negative 5x is negative 20y. 4 times 10 is 40. Copy down the first one. 8x plus 6y equals negative 12. Now I can add them together, eliminating one of the variables. So negative 20y plus 6y is negative 14y. 40 plus negative 12, 28. Divide both sides by negative 14. Negative 2, right? Okay, pick one. Bottom. Going to substitute in y. My y is negative 2. We have negative 2x plus 10 equals 10. What's x? Questions, comments, concerns? Okay, I'm going to have to kind of rush through these. Okay, number 13. Set up a system. Mickey and Donald are landscapers, and they have their own little garden. But lots of receipts. Mickey knows that he bought 10 rose bushes, so R is going to equal rose bush. And 1 ivy plant, so I is going to equal ivy. And let's see, he's got 10 roses plus 1 ivy, and he paid 33 bucks. The other guy, he bought 13 roses and 9 ivies for 66. Now, if I was a student taking a quiz, I would multiply the top one by negative 9 and solve. Now, I want to make sure that you guys know how to do the inequalities. Okay, so let's move on to 9 and 10 here on the bottom. How many inequalities do I have in this problem? 1. So this is a simple inequality. How many inequalities do I have the second problem? 2. So this is a compound inequality. Since it's a compound, do I have an or an or problem? It's an and problem for 2 reasons. There's no word or, and it's squished. Okay, let's do these really quick. Solve just like an equation, except when you multiply or divide by a negative number, flip the sign. I'm going to distribute to 8. So I have 6x plus 4 less than 8x minus 16. I'm going to keep my x's on the left-hand side, so I'm going to subtract 8x. And at the same time, since I have my x's on the left-hand side, I'm going to move my numbers on the right-hand side, so I'm going to subtract 4. 6x minus 8x is negative 2x less than negative 20. Now I'm going to divide by negative 2, right? I have to flip my sign. I get x is greater than 10. Graph it, put a 10 there, an 11, a 9. It's a parenthesis at 10. I know it's going greater. So I have a parenthesis 10 going to infinity. Okay? Got it quick. I can do the other one in less than 3 minutes. This one I have 2 problems. Okay. I got to get the x term by itself. So I'm going to subtract 1 from all sides. Negative 4 minus 1. Negative 5 is less than 5. X less than or equal to 15. Divide all sides by 5. Dividing by positive numbers, so my sign stays the same. Negative 5 divided by 5 is negative 1. X. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Here's my negative 1. Here's my 3. See, this one gets a parenthesis. It's the in-betweener because it's an and problem. Shade all that. Smallest number is negative 1, gets a parenthesis. Largest one is a 3 with a bracket. Okay? I know I did those kind of fast. Like I said, I'll update Google Classroom if you